Every renewables can't run a grid talking point, intermittency, base load, the duck curve, the need for gas peakers rests on one single assumption that storing energy is expensive. It used to be. That's it. That's the whole intellectual foundation for that argument. Solar is already the cheapest electricity in the history of the species, of the planet. In the best locations, it's under 2 cents per kilowatt hour. The only thing standing between that and a fully clean grid was the cost of moving sunshine from noon to midnight. $20 per kilowatt hour energy storage is the number that moves it. Once storage is effectively free over its life, solar stops being cheap daytime power and becomes dispatchable anytime electricity. A 24-hour product that underbids coal, gas, and nuclear, not at peak, but 24 hours a day, every day. And this doesn't just help renewables. This dissolves the problems we built the entire thermal fleet to solve. Curtailment flips from a loss into a strategy. You stop throwing away midday solar and start banking every single watt. Because banking it is now cheaper than burning anything, period. The what about a still cloudy week problem stops being a physics objection and becomes an arithmetic one. You overbuild solar, still cheaper, which is really cheap, and you store the surplus, which is now also really cheap. Volume solves it, and volume just got incredibly affordable. Now, the consequences that nobody on the fossil fuel side wants to model are these. Peaker plants die. They exist to run a few hundred hours a year, if that. And cheap batteries erase their reason to exist. On the Electric Viking website, I'll put a link in the description below. We have more articles about electric cars and battery technology than any other website that I'm aware of in the world. So check that out. Link is in the description. And there you'll find our videos and analysis and articles about everything going on in the EV world. Baseload coal and gas get stranded as their capacity factors collapse. That's a balance sheet event for utilities and petrostates, not an engineering footnote. And the kicker is this. Sodium is made of salt. There's no lithium, no cobalt, no nickel, no critical minerals in the battery. So the "but China controls the lithium" argument dies in the same breath as the intermittency argument. Cheap, clean, firm power becomes buildable anywhere there is sun and salt, which is actually everywhere. The developing world leapfrogs the entire fossil fuel and lithium capital burden in a single move. This is the real story I'm about to share with you. The oil export model and the lithium cartel model both weaken at the same instant. And whoever manufactures these cells at scale, which right now means China, inherits the energy system that almost completely replaces oil. Well, this is a bit of a shock, to be honest. BYD has just told the world where the next great collapse in batteries is going to happen. Can't say I told you so, but I did. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but anyway, it's not in your car, says BYD. It's in the box bolted to the side of a building or in a farm or the batteries that are everywhere now. CATL and Chang'an grabbed headlines on the 12th of June, launching a mass-produced passenger car running a 45 kilowatt-hour sodium battery pack. Now, this was a big deal, but really, it's not as big of a deal as what BYD is saying. BYD pointed its third-generation sodium chemistry somewhere else entirely, stationary grid storage. And the target is, well, it's pretty brutal, to be honest. This is going to make an enormous difference to global battery prices very quickly. By 2027, BYD wants to build sodium cells at 4 cents per watt hour. That's $40 per kilowatt hour. Remember that number, because here's what it does to the competition. Right now, even the cheapest lithium iron phosphate cells, the chemistry that has already crushed everything else in grid storage, cost around $55 to $70 per kilowatt hour. So at $40, BYD sodium cells already undercut lithium iron phosphate outright. But the upfront price isn't the real story. The real story is cost plus lifespan. BYD rates this sodium platform at more than 10,000 cycles. CATL has similar batteries they rate at more than 15,000. A 33-year service life if you were using them constantly. A typical lithium iron phosphate grid cell today delivers around 4,000 to 5,000 cycles. So sodium lasts twice as long. Now do the maths the way a grid operator does, cost per cycle. A $40 cell that lasts 10,000 cycles or more delivers energy at the same lifetime cost as a $20 cell that only lasts for 5,000. So on a cost per cycle basis, BYD's sodium isn't a $40 battery. It's the equivalent of a $20 lithium iron phosphate cell or less. That means global energy storage battery prices will fall by around 66% in the next 18 months. For lithium iron phosphate to match those lifetime economics, they wouldn't just need to halve their price to 40. They would need to fall to $20 per kilowatt hour. It's nowhere near that. And that's the bomb going off. So why does this chemistry belong on the grid and not in a hatchback, or at least BYD's sodium chemistry anyway? Well, because of what BYD picked. It's a polyanion design, shorthand NFPP, in a heavy 189 amp hour 2.9 volt cell. Raw polyanion material is electrically almost useless. Its phosphate framework leaves it basically an insulator. BYD's fix is two moves stacked. Shrink the particles below 100 nanometers to shorten the path electrons travel, then wrap every grain in amorphous carbon. Together that lifts conductivity by 4 to 5 orders of magnitude, 100,000-fold jump. And here's why it's a grid cell, not a car cell. In abuse testing compiled by Minmetals Securities, they force these cells into thermal runaway, and the polyanion cell peaks at 273 degrees Celsius. That's 524 degrees Fahrenheit. The competing layered oxide sodium cell hits 484 degrees Celsius, 904 degrees Fahrenheit. The polyanion cell also vents far less gas, 93 litres against 123. When you're stacking thousands of these in a sealed hall next to a substation, a cell that runs cooler and gases less when it fails is everything. Energy density takes a back seat. Now, the honest part, because I won't sell you a fantasy, $40 is a 2027 target, not today's price. Let's make that clear. So no need to email me saying, when is this happening? It's predicted to be 2027. May not happen until the end of 2027. And there's a real bottleneck. That is the anode. Sodium cells need hard carbon, and that supply chain is a bit of a mess. Now, not all sodium cells need hard carbon, but yeah, most of them do. The supply chain is fragmented. There's no standard process. There's inconsistent yields. Minmetals is blunt. Sodium won't hit true cost parity with LFP until 2027, they say. But that's Minmetals. It's not BYD. This fortress, though, is still being built. And it will arrive. It's just a question of when. I don't exactly know. But look at the board. In China's battery market, CATL still owns 46.7%. with 33 gigawatt hours installed in May. BYD sits second at 16.8%. The two giants are deliberately splitting the sodium world. CATL is testing sodium in cars. BYD is colonizing the grid. That said, they're not really going to play fair. It's not some sort of game where they say, you have that, we'll take this. I can guarantee you the fight to produce sodium ion cells at the lowest price is on. It began years ago. And that's what the lazy sodium versus lithium headlines miss. This was never a fight to the death. Lithium and high nickel keep the cars and the long range stuff. Sodium polyanion takes the heavy, stationary, run it for decades infrastructure where weight is irrelevant and price and lifespan are everything. $40 per kilowatt hour, twice as many cycles, so the equivalent of $20 per kilowatt hour. Once you count the cycles, this means that grid storage costs are going to collapse, absolutely collapse. Whilst we're seeing the cost of solar hit all-time record lows, we're about to see battery prices slam fossil fuels out of existence. Yes, we need oil to make plastics, to do a few things. However, the amount of oil we use, the amount of coal we use, the amount of gas we use is going to be annihilated within the next 5 years. If you know someone who needs to know this, please share this video with them because you might help them and you'll also help the channel. Thanks for watching. Thinking about getting solar, a home battery, or an EV charger? Check out Australia's best free comparison tool because it could save you a lot of money. Guys, click on the link below in the description and you can see how much you can save. Alternatively, give Resync a call. They are the guys who installed my battery and my home solar. I'll put a link to them as well in the description. Need expert advice on what car to buy, what solar system to get, what home battery to get, or potentially for your business? You can get, guys, a one-on-one consultation directly with me, 60 minutes of tailored guidance. This might help you avoid making a huge mistake spending money when you shouldn't, or potentially save you a massive amount of money. Click the link in the description below because I can assist you, and why not? The link is in the description.